Let's begin the water element yoga practice. First, let's go over where the water element meridians flow. The kidney channel begins at the bottom of the foot and comes up around the ankle, inside of the leg, all the way up inside of the upper leg, into the groin area, comes up the abdomen on either side of the navel, all the way up the front of the abdomen, and comes out and ends just under the collarbone. And the bladder meridian begins on the inside of the eyes, and then comes up and over the top of the head, all the way down on either side of the spine, comes down the back of the buttocks, down the back of the legs, all the way down to the outside of the little toe. Okay, so both of these meridians travel the entire body. And so with the practice, you'll notice that we've incorporated both poses that open the front of the body and open up the back of the body. Now also in this practice, I'll incorporate the mudra for the water element, the fluid mudra, and that is a yoga position for the hands. You'll take your pinky and thumb and bring those two digits together to form the mudra for the water element. Now, what this does is closes the circuit of energy so that the energy is going to be directed more powerfully into the kidney and bladder meridians as you practice. Now, you don't have to do this if this is just one extra element too much in something that you're learning that's new. That's something you can incorporate into your practice later. I do this every time I practice a different element. I will use the mudras throughout the practice, as you will notice, and I'll instruct you to do so. But like I said, if it's a little bit too much to coordinate the yoga poses and holding the mudras, don't worry about that. You can incorporate that later when you become a little bit more comfortable with the practice. So, also, before we begin the practice, I want to go over the 5 different segments for each practice, and this is consistent throughout all of the 5 elemental practices. The first segment will be the connecting segment, and that is exercises, breathing, pranayama, as well as some meditation to help bring the energies inward. This can be useful no matter if you're practicing in the morning first thing or in the afternoon, because in the morning you've waken up from sleeping at night, and during the nighttime when we are asleep, our consciousness travels to other places. So we want to be sure to spend the time to bring our consciousness back into our physical body fully before we get deep into our practice. And also, if you're practicing in the afternoon after a full day of work or activity, our energies have been outside of ourselves, engaging in the physical world. So in that case, we want to take the time to bring our energies back inside to prepare for our practice. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and begin. So the first thing that we're going to do for the water element practice is begin by bringing the energy inside. So I'm going to have you stand with your feet about hip distance apart. Toes are spread wide to create a nice firm foundation. You're gently tucking the tailbone under. Make sure the shoulders are down and relaxed. And now I'm going to have you go ahead and take the fluid mudra by bringing the pinky finger and the thumb together, and relax your hands down by your side. Close your eyes. You're going to take a few deep inhalations and exhalations. And as you do this, just allow your awareness to draw inward. Now, after your body settles, we're going to begin chakra breathing. And I'm going to describe this form of breathing, as we're going to use this throughout all of the 5 elemental practices. And this particular pranayama is going to help get the energy generating through the chakra system, helping to energize, in particular, the chakra that we're working on, but will also help to generate energy through all of them. And so, keeping the eyes closed, you're going to begin by drawing your awareness beneath your feet into the earth, about 12 inches. You're going to pull the earth energy up through the soles of the feet, up the inside of the legs, up the back of the spine to the crown of your head. And then you're going to allow the energy to drop from the crown of your head down the front of the body, all the way down to the base of the pelvis. Then the energy splits into 2 lines, drawing back down the inside of the legs, back down to the soles of the feet, and back down to the earth. Now we're going to coordinate that with the breath. So again, bringing your awareness about 12 inches below your feet. As you inhale, you're going to draw that energy back up that line inside the legs to the base of the pelvis, then 1 line up the back of the spine to the crown. And then as you exhale, you're going to draw that energy and your breath down the front of the body, back to the base of the pelvis, where it splits into 2 lines, draws down the inside of the legs, back to the soles of the feet, and back to the earth. And again, inhale, drawing the energy up the inside of the legs, up the back of the spine to the crown of your head. And then exhaling from the crown of your head, down the front of your body to the base of the pelvis, splits in 2 lines, draws down the legs, back to the soles of the feet and the earth. And I want you to try to continue this cycle in silence with your own breath, your own timing and rhythm. And I will join you for 3 rounds. And go ahead and release the chakra breathing. Just take a couple more deep inhalations and exhalations. And go ahead and open the eyes. Next, we're going to begin with a Qigong movement called bone shaking. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a little bit of shaking through the body, but where I want you to bring your focus is to the bones, and even deeper than that, into the marrow inside the bones. And this is where we want to create the energy and the vibration from this exercise. So let's begin, and Just want to be sure that you're moving from a grounded base and you're just shaking the whole body, just gentle oscillations up and down. You can move side to side. Now this might feel a little bit funny at first, and it might look a little bit silly, but it feels wonderful. It's a really great way to shake off extra stress and tension in the body. It also can help you to identify where you're holding that tension and stress, because those areas of the body that are not jiggling or moving very well are likely areas where you're holding tension, and there is lack of flow of energy in those areas. So you want to start with big movements. You can get the hands and the arms involved. Be sure to shake it all out. Want to get rid of all that stress and tension so we can really flow when it comes time to go deeper into our practice. Okay, then as we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to bring these bigger movements and gradually work them into smaller movements. We're bringing that energy and that vibration deeper into the bones, to the center of the bones, to the marrow. We're actually creating a vibration at that level, at the deepest core of ourselves. And then make that movement even smaller. Just a very gentle oscillation that only you can feel. Very gentle vibration in the body, and again, going deeper and deeper into the center of the bones. And then pause the physical movement. You can close your eyes, bring your awareness again deep into the center of the bones, to the level of the marrow. And you may be able to begin to sense that vibration that you have created from this exercise. Now, it may take you a little while to be able to cultivate that sensation, but as I'm standing now, I can feel a deep vibration in the center of my bones. Okay, when you're complete, you can open the eyes. Again, we're going to take the fluid mudra, thumb to pinky finger, and we're going to draw that energy from the earth. Inhale, drawing it up the central core of the body, and exhale, drawing that sky energy back down to the earth. Inhale, earth to sky, and exhale, sky energy back to earth. And 3 more rounds of this breath technique. Inhale and exhale, bringing down sky energy back to earth. Inhale, earth to sky. Exhale, drawing it back down. And inhale, drawing that earth energy back up to the sky. And back down. Now we're going to bring the energy into the pelvis specifically. You can keep the fluid mudra. We're going to begin with figure 8s at the hips, side to side. And I like to flow my hands with the movement, or you can keep your hands still. So it's going to center our energies into the pelvis, the location of the first chakra, kidney and bladder. And you want to go both directions. Switch to the other side. And after the side to side figure eights, we're going to go into circles. So we'll do both directions. So it doesn't matter which direction you want to start in. Just draw a circle with your pelvis. A couple more in this direction. And go the other direction. You can gently pull the navel in towards the spine to direct the energy into the pelvis even more. Be sure to keep your breath smooth and even. Don't hold your breath. And back to center. You're going to bring your hands into prayer. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a few deep inhalations and exhalations. And I just want you to notice a shift of energy in your body from the start of the practice to the end of the connecting segment. And we'll take the time to do this at each segment before and after, so you can begin to sense how your energy does shift as we progress along in our yoga practice. Take a few more deep inhalations and exhalations here. And go ahead and slowly open the eyes. And now we're going to progress to the next phase of our yoga practice, which will be igniting the flow. So igniting the flow of energy. Really, the first one is connecting, bringing the energy inward, bringing our awareness inward. So the second phase is igniting the flow of energy, getting that energy in the water element channels, beginning to flow and activating. And so we do this by a series of sun salutations, each one specific to opening up the kidney and bladder meridians. And so I'll go through it slowly, and I'll show you modifications as it goes, because I know those of you watching this video will be at different levels in your practice. Some may be at a more advanced beginner to intermediate. Some may be more raw beginners or have some physical limitations. So I want to make this as accessible to as many people as possible. So we'll go through gradually layering on the practice, and I'll show you modifications as we go. All right, so you're going to begin at the top of your mat. Bring your hands into prayer at the center of the chest. Take a couple of deep inhalations and exhalations. I'm going to step back just a little bit because I'm not going to quite need the chair just yet. And we're going to begin by inhaling, sweeping the arms up, a slight arch back. Exhale, folding forward. You're going to bend the knees to begin with because we haven't warmed up the back of the legs yet. So you're going to bend forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, extend the spine, and as you extend, you may be able to straighten the legs a little bit more. Exhale and round, and here you may need to bend the knees more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend, and exhale, round. Then inhale, sweep the arms back up, and exhale, coming back to center. So we're going to do that again, and as you notice, you're going to inhale and open up. You're opening up the front of the body, the kidney channel, and as you exhale and come forward into Uttanasana, you're opening up the back of the body, the bladder channel. And then inhale and sweep back up and back down. Now, as far as the modification goes, if you can't quite go that far down forward, you can use a chair, and it'll look like this. Inhale and exhale, coming forward. You can bend the knees even a little bit here. Hands back to center. Inhale and exhale, and coming forward with the chair. And coming back up. Okay, and adding on to this, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Hands placed down, step back into downward dog. Adho Mukha. Now here, if you're not quite able to get the heels down, again, you can bend your knees slightly. Just make sure your spine is really extending. You don't want your shoulders over your hands. You want your shoulders back from the hands, the arms extending, the spine extending, the back of the legs lengthening. And in this position, the downward dog can feel more like a rest position, but if you're stuck here, it feels more like a plank and a lot more effortful. So shift that weight back. And then from downward dog, you're going to come forward into plank. Drop your knees, chest and chin. Then you're going to inhale into cobra. Exhale, releasing down. Tuck the toes and pressing all the way up and back into downward dog. And go ahead and walk the feet forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch your arms up. And exhale, back to center. Now I'm going to show you the modification with the chair. This is just the basic sun salutation. We're going to add some specific movements to open up the kidney and bladder a little more deeply in the next phase. So I'll show you this modification and then we'll move forward. So with the chair, I'm going to scoot this forward a little bit. So with the chair, you're going to inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, coming forward, walking back and stretching back. This is our downward dog with the chair. You're going to inhale and you can come forward into plank. A little arch in the spine for cobra. Back into downward dog. And then walking forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And sweep your arms all the way back up. And back to center. Okay, so I'm going to push the chair away, and if you need that modification, just continue to do the practice with the chair. In a moment, I'm going to show you how to modify the next phase of the sun salutation with the chair. Okay, so we're going to move on. Inhale, stretching your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana. Hands down, step back. Downward dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, coming up into Cobra. Exhale, release. You're going to tuck the toes under and press all the way up and back. Downward Dog. Now you're going to step the left foot to the center. You're going to inhale and lift the right leg. Keep the hips square. Then you're going to sweep the right leg through and come into a modified Parsvottanasana. Front heel in line with the back heel. Keep the spine nice and extended. Now, if you can't this is a very strong opener for the bladder channel. If you're unable to keep this leg straight, you're going to give it a slight bend. Still able to keep the spine nice and extended. And then from here, the modified Parsvottanasana, you're going to come down briefly through lunge position. Drop the knee and sweep up into low Virabhadrasana 1. Take a couple of breaths here. Nice opening for the kidney channel as it comes up the front of the abdomen. And then you're going to release back into this strong opener for the bladder channel here, and as it comes up the back of the spine. Keep the spine nice and straight. Try not to round. You want to extend so that energy can flow all the way up and over the top to the start of the bladder channel. Take a couple of breaths here. Then you're going to walk forward, step back, downward dog. Now right foot is going to come to the center. You're going to inhale that left leg up. Bring it forward into that modified Parsvottanasana. Again, you can bend the knee if you need to. The hips are square, spine is extending. Then you're going to drop your knee down. Inhale, sweep your arms up into low Virabhadrasana 1. And then rocking back into the strong opener for the bladder channel. You're going to pull the toes back here to get a really good stretch here in the lower leg as well. If you point the toes, you won't quite get that. So if you bring the toes back, you're going to really get this nice stretch in the back of the calf. And then step forward and back into downward dog. And walk forward. Back to Uttanasana. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Then inhale, sweep your arms up. And back to center. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the modification for the sun salutation that includes the kidney and bladder openers. So I'm going to bring the chair onto the mat. Now, if you don't need the modification, you can run through the vinyasa flow or the sun salutation without the modification. After I do this, I'm going to go back to the mat and we'll run through this particular vinyasa flow a little bit faster without as many breaks of 3 times for a repetition of 3. And that way you can get a sense of how the practice will run when you begin to cultivate that on your own. The idea behind the Sacred Pathways yoga movements is that it is a flowing vinyasa flow segment so that you're creating flow within the physical body, you're creating flow within the meridians, And this flow is what's going to energize the organ systems and the element that we're working on. I find that the static holds of the poses are wonderful, and I love that type of practice as well. But when we're specifically, when we have this specific intention of supporting the flow of energy through the meridians, then that's best supported by flowing in our yoga practice as well. So let me show you this particular modification for the vinyasa with the chair. I'm going to have you inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, coming forward. Again, you can bend your knees if you need to. Uttanasana. Stepping back, downward dog. Coming forward into cobra or upward dog. Exhale, coming back. And again, you can bring left foot to the center, right leg comes up. Bringing that foot forward, modified Parsvottanasana. You can bend your front knee if you need to. Or keep it nice and straight. Back is straight, spine is extending. And then from here, if you have difficulty, you can go ahead and come down the floor and then work from here. But if it's too difficult for you to come down to the floor, just stay high into a high Virabhadrasana 1. And then for the opener, just simply come back into that Parsvottanasana position that we were just in. And then you can step back into downward dog from here. Right foot to center, left leg extends. Bringing that foot forward to that modified Parsvo position. And you can come up into that high Virabhadrasana 1. Back down to Parsvottanasana modification. And then back to downward dog. Walking forward, inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And coming back up to center. Okay? So work where you are. It's going to be better for you to use the modifications and feel stability in the poses so you can flow. You really can only flow well if you have a firm foundation, if you have stability in the poses. Otherwise, you're going to be all over the place and you're not really going to be able to create the flow and the consolidated energy that best benefits you. So if you can find stability best with the chair, then please use the chair. And you can work your way up to the full vinyasa flow as you're able. So now I'm going to push the chair aside. And we're going to go through the full vinyasa flow 3 times in real time, a little bit slower than I normally do it in my practice. So follow along. Okay, so beginning in Tadasana, hands in prayer. Then you're going to inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Legs are straight or bent at this time. Hands down, step back into downward dog. Couple of breaths here. Inhale, come forward into plank. Then drop knees, chest and chin. Inhale into cobra. Exhale back. Downward dog. Left foot to center. Inhale the right leg up. Sweep that leg through into modified Parsvottanasana. Hold here for a couple of breaths. And then coming down into low Virabhadrasana 1. Back into that deep bladder opener. Coming forward through lunge, back into downward dog, right foot to center. Inhale the left foot, the left leg. Sweep it through, modified Parsvottanasana. And here you're going to come down, low Virabhadrasana 1. And back to the deep bladder opener, the back of the leg here, up the back of the spine. Come forward through lunge and step back, downward dog. And walk the feet forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, back to center. 2 more times. Gonna inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Place the hands down, step back. Downward dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Knees just in chin. Inhale, cobra. Tuck the toes under. And back into downward dog. Left foot to center. Inhale, right leg. Sweep the right leg through, Parsvottanasana. Bring the left heel down. Inhale into low Virabhadrasana 1. Rocking back to that deep hamstring opener for the bladder channel. And rock it forward. Back to downward dog. Right foot to center. Inhale, left leg up. Sweep it through. Front heel in line with the back heel, Parsvottanasana. Bring the knee down. Inhale. Coming up low Virabhadrasana 1. And back for the opener. And coming through lunge, back into downward dog. Walk your feet forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, back to center. Last time through this vinyasa flow. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. Hands down, step back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Knees just in chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, back. Downward dog. Left foot to center. Inhale, right leg. Sweep it through. Front heel in line with the back heel. Parsvottanasana. Then knee down. Inhale. Sweep up. Low Virabhadrasana 1. And rocking back for the back body opener. Inhale, come forward and step back. Right foot to center. Inhale, left leg up. Sweep it through. Modified Parsvottanasana. Right heel down. Inhale. Sweep the arms up. Low Virabhadrasana 1. And back for the opener. Coming forward into lunge. And step back, downward dog. And walk forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Sweep your arms up. And exhale, back to center. Okay, now let's just take a few moments to close the eyes. Again, I want you to bring your awareness inward. Just feel the shift of energy from before igniting the flow until after. Is there any place that you feel like the energy is getting a little bit stuck? Do you feel like the energy is moving smoothly and easily throughout the body? Feel a little bit of tingling and vibration through the whole body. Is there any areas of the body that may feel like they're not quite tingling like the rest of the body? And just notice. And then go ahead and slowly open the eyes. So it's always my suggestion. Now there is a Sacred Pathways Yoga video series that contains each one of the elemental practices that you can follow along with at home. It'll be a little bit more smooth, going from each segment to the next without pausing, with less instruction. So it's more about guiding you through the practice, and it is about teaching you the practice, which is what this workshop is about. Now, the next phase to doing the practice with the videos is actually learning the practice, learning the flow sequences, and memorize them. Now that is the best way to do the practice, and it's a slow progression from one to the next. But if you can get to the point where you can memorize the practices and just do them in your own time, with your own rhythms, with your own pauses, and perhaps with your own music if you want to add music, that's absolutely the best way to practice, because then you're not listening to me, you're not watching a video, you're really focused on cultivating this flow of energy, which these practices were meant to do. So over time, if you want to make that your goal, that would be ideal. Okay, so we have gone through connecting and igniting the flow for the water element channel. The next phase is, connecting, initiating the flow, and now we're moving on to the third segment, which is igniting the flow. So we've gotten that flow of energy beginning, and I hope that you can feel that. Next, we're really going to ignite that energy, bring it to its full force through the standing pose series. So we'll go through that much like this, the sun salutations, and I'll show you the modifications with the chair. You could also use blocks if you need to. All right, so we're going to begin at the top of the mat again. And first I'm going to show you the series as I go through it to begin with, and then we'll break it down. and show the modifications. Okay? So don't worry about following me through this. I'm just going to show you the whole practice so that you know what we're working toward. Okay, so beginning in Tadasana. Bringing my hand into fluid mudra. Coming into grabbing my big toe with the middle and index finger. Coming into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. And don't worry, there's many modifications for this pose. If this looks difficult, bring it forward, out to the side, back to the center, and then flowing into Virabhadrasana 3, into high lunge, and then back into Parsvottanasana, inhaling, opening up the front of the body, the kidney channel, then to the back for the bladder opener. Inhaling and coming up. Back to the center for Padottanasana, which is the ultimate in the water element opener because it gets both the kidney channel and the bladder channel together. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come to one side and wrap. Shift to the other side and wrap. Back to the center, Padottanasana. And inhale, back to center. So that's the full vinyasa sequence. We'll do it on both sides. We'll start again to this side, go through it slower without modifications. Then we'll go through it with modifications. Then we'll begin going through it 3 times on each side in a normal flow and a normal pace. Okay, so let's go nice and slow. I will show you some modifications of the Padottanasana because it can be a little bit challenging for the balance. So, beginning in Tadasana, take a few deep inhalations and exhalations. You're going to bring the left hand into fluid mudra, pinky and thumb together. You can bring the right leg up. Now, as far as the modification goes, you can just grab the knee. That's the easiest. Maybe both knees will give you both hands bringing the knee to the chest will give you a little bit more stability. If you want to grab the big toe with the middle and index finger, yeah, as I say, the balance is a little bit challenging. So, middle and index finger, you can hold here. Now, if you have the flexibility, you can begin to extend. You don't need to extend all the way. You can keep your knee slightly bent or bring it to full extension. If you wanted to bring it to the side, nice and slow. Back to center. Bend the knee. Then you're going to release both hands in fluid mudra, keeping the balance. Slowly come into Virabhadrasana 3. You can hold it just here or come deeper into the pose, which is more challenging. Then step it back into high lunge. Okay, from high lunge, you're going to step into Padottanasana, front heel in line with the back heel. Bring the hands back, holding the elbows. Inhale, open the front of the body. Exhale and come forward slowly. Now, depending on your flexibility, that is where you want to stay. So if you can keep the spine extended, then you're good to move forward. As soon as the spine starts to round, that's your signal to stop or bend the knee. And I'm going to keep going forward. Working with the breath. And inhale, coming back up. Now we're going to come forward, Padottanasana. So beginning here, bringing hands to earth. Now you can adjust the width of the legs, and that will help in modifying the pose. You can use blocks to bring your hands up a little bit higher if you need to. So hands to earth if you can. You can bend the knees if you need to as a modification. Bring your fingertips in line with the toes. You're going to inhale and extend the spine. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend. And exhale, fold. Coming back up, bring the hands out. Now we're going to go side to side. And again, it just depends on your flexibility. If you only go this far, that's fine. If you come all the way down, you can hold your hands here for balance. Then we're going to slide to the other side, opening up the kidney channel on the inside of the leg, and coming back to center. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And inhale. And coming back to center. Okay, so modifications. I'm going to show you a few ways that you can use the chair to help modify the pose before we go and do it on each side. Okay, so you can bring the chair up. If you need help with balance or you need help with flexibility, the chair can be really useful for this particular vinyasa flow. So starting in Tadasana, taking a few inhalations and exhalations. Now instead of bringing the leg up, you can simply place the heel on the chair, a very stable position if you need to, and hold it there. And then when you come forward into Virabhadrasana 3, you can keep the toe down and then reach for the chair as you raise the leg up. Before you step back into high Virabhadrasana 1, now you can go, to modify this pose, just stay a little bit higher versus going really deep into the pose, okay? So that's your modification there. And then Padottanasana, and you can come forward if you need to hang on to the chair to keep the knee bent instead of the hands behind the back. You can use the chair as a modification there. And again, you're going to get just as much benefit from these poses using the chair as you do without, just so you're maintaining your stability and a firm foundation. Okay, from here, we come up, back to center. Now here, you can bring the chair to the middle for Padottanasana, and you can work with the chair here, inhaling and exhaling. You can simply bring your forehead down to the seat of the chair instead of bringing it down to the floor. And again, that works just as well. As long as you're getting the opening on the inside of the legs, some stretch down the hamstrings, you're good to go. So inhale, exhale, and inhale, the side to side. You're simply going to bend one knee and then bend the other. Coming back to center. One more fold forward. And inhale back up. Back to center. And there you go. That is modification with the chair. Again, you can use blocks as well, and that'll take you a little bit lower when you're ready for that. So now I'm going to move the chair out of the way, and let's do that flow. We're going to do it each side 3 times. Again, a little bit more quickly. And pardon me, I'm going to get my, there we go, hook myself back up together. So I am a little bit tethered. So we're going to start at the top of the mat here. Hands together, standing in Tadasana. Getting us back to center. You can close the eyes for a moment. Deep inhalations and exhalations. Open the eyes. Left hand comes into fluid mudra. Standing on the left leg. I'm bringing the right leg up. Grabbing the big toe with the middle and index finger. Extending the leg out. You can bring it in and out a few times to get the opening, bringing the leg out to the side, back to center, bending the knee and flowing into Virabhadrasana 3, stepping way back into high Virabhadrasana 1, bringing the heel down, front heel in line with the back heel, grabbing the elbows. Inhale, open the front body. Exhale, fold forward, opening the back body. Inhale, coming all the way up, facing center, bringing hands to earth. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, fold forward. And coming into the deep lunge to the right. Coming up through the center. Deep lunge to the left. Coming back up to center. Fingertips in line with the toes. Round and attempt to bring the crown of the head down to the floor. For full Padottanasana, inhale back to center. We're going to go to the other side. Right hand in fluid mudra. Going to bring the left foot up. Grab the big toe, middle and index finger and extend. Opening out to the side. Back to center. Release the leg, flow forward. Virabhadrasana 3 to high lunge. And then stepping into modified Parsvottanasana. Hands behind. Inhale. Open the front of the body. Exhale, coming forward, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, coming back up to center. Back to the middle for Padottanasana, hands down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Coming to the right for a deep lunge. And then to the left. Back to the center. Padottanasana. Crown of the head towards the earth. And inhale. Coming back up. And starting again, the other side. Starting with a deep breath, hand in fluid mudra, bringing the right leg up into Utthita Hasta Padangushtasana, out to the side, and to the center, sweeping through, Virabhadrasana 3, and then high lunge, back into Padottanasana. Inhale, open, front body. Exhale, opening the back body. Inhale, coming back up. Back through the center. Placing the hands down. Padottanasana. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And inhale and exhale. Inhale, extend. Coming to right side. And shifting to the left. Coming back to center. Padottanasana. Crown of the head towards the earth. And back up to center. Coming to the other side. Hand in fluid mudra. Bringing the left foot up. Grabbing the big toe, the middle and index finger. Extending the leg. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Leg out to the side. Back to the center. And release into Virabhadrasana 3. Into high lunge. Heel down. Padottanasana. Grabbing the elbows. Inhale. Opening the front body. Exhale. Coming forward. Padottanasana. Inhale. Come back up. Coming back through the center. Bringing fingertips in line with the toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And side to side, to the right side. And slide over to the left. Back to the center, coming into Padottanasana, crown of the head to the earth. And inhale. Returning to center. One more time each side. Hand in fluid mudra, if you like. Grabbing the big toe with the middle and index finger. Extending the leg, bringing it out to the side, coming forward, sweeping through Virabhadrasana 3, into high lunge, back into Padottanasana, inhale, or Parsvottanasana, pardon me, coming forward, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, coming back up. Coming through the center. Now Padottanasana, coming forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Sliding over to one side. And then sliding over to the other side. Back to center. And coming into Padottanasana. Inhale, extend. All the way back up. And again, other side. Last round. Bringing the left foot up. Grabbing the big toe. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Bring the leg out to the side. Back to the center. Flowing into Virabhadrasana 3. Stepping back. Virabhadrasana 1. Back to Parsvottanasana. Inhale. And exhale, coming forward. And inhale, back up. Coming to the center, Padottanasana. Fingertips in line with the toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend, sliding over to one side and then the other. Coming back to center, inhale, exhale, fold. And inhale, coming all the way up. Go ahead and walk the feet together. Release the hands into fluid mudra. Pinky and thumb together. Drop the shoulders. Close the eyes. Take a few deep inhalations and exhalations. And again, notice the shift of energy from the beginning of igniting the flow for the water element channels to the end of this series, this vinyasa flow. And go ahead and open the eyes. And again, I just want to emphasize that if the practice is feeling awkward and a bit difficult, that is completely normal when you're first learning a vinyasa flow. For me, I've been doing these practices for 10 years. So I can do them in my sleep basically, and nearly do because I do my practices in the morning. No. By the time I finish my practice, I always feel wonderful, energized, ready for my day. It's my favorite time to practice, 5 to 5:30 a.m. These are the practices that get me out of bed in the morning. So yes, you find the time of day that works best for you, but you're going to get the most out of the practice if you learn the practices. You can get a sense of flow, you can connect the poses together like a dance, and then you'll really begin to enjoy the practice, feel the sense of flow and connection that the practices create. So now we have gone through the 3 phases of the water element channel: connecting, initiating the flow, igniting the flow of energy, and now we come into the section of deepening. So we've really gotten the flow going in the body, and now we're going to deepen even further, going deeper into these openers for the kidney and bladder channels. So to do this, we're going to come to the floor, and we're going to begin in Upavista Konasana. So you're going to open the legs nice and wide here, as wide as you can. So as you can see, opening up the kidney channel, and as we come forward, you're going to be opening up the bladder channel as well. So if you notice, this is just another face of Padottanasana, which is the most powerful posture for opening the water element channels, because it opens both of them together. So we're going to begin here, and slowly making sure we're going to begin with a very strong base. So you're going to be pulling the toes towards you again to emphasize the opening of the bladder channel. You want to make sure that your spine is lifting, and if you're rounding, if you feel like your hamstrings are really, really tight and you feel like your lower spine is rounding as you sit here, you're not able to lift the spine, then I want you to sit on a little bit of height. So bring your pelvis up a little bit until you can extend the spine. Now, if you have to come up on height, you may not be able to come forward very much in Upavista Konasana. But that's fine. The purpose of the pose is just to come where you're feeling an opening. It doesn't matter how far you go. As you get further in your practice, you're just going to have to go further. So you don't have to go very far when you're first starting, and that's just fine. So don't try to force it. Don't try to get an opening where there's not an opening. It's very important in your yoga practice, the idea of ahimsa or nonviolence. So don't push yourself where you're not able to go. It's also very important in the kidney and bladder meridians, is that is specifically related to our reserves of energy. So if our nature is to really push ourselves in our day-to-day lives, push ourselves to the very end and push ourselves further than we're really able to go, then that will show up in the water element channel as a deficiency or a lack of energy in the kidney and bladder over time. So we can notice those same tendencies in our yoga practice. So if you find yourself really pushing yourself forward further than you are ready for, then just take note of that. Just step back, take note of that, work where you are, and just become comfortable in working within your own limitations. And then gradually, as you build your energy within your limitations, then you're going to be able to expand beyond that, because you'll have the proper energy cultivated to be able to do that well. Okay, so now coming deeper into the pose, you've gotten a firm base, your spine is extending. Now as you come forward, you're going to bend forward at the hips. You're going to hinge at the hips, deepen in the groin area as you come forward. And work with the breath. You don't want to hold the breath. So you're going to keep the breath flowing. Deep inhales and exhales as you slowly work deeper into Upavista Konasana. Now if you're able to come down on the elbows and still keep the spine extended, you can do that. So keep breathing, nice deep inhalations and exhalations. Now I'm looking up so I can see you, but in general you want to try to keep your neck and head in line with the rest of your spine as you come forward. And sorry if my arms are getting cut off here, but as you extend, you're going to extend your arms forward. Let me scoot back a little bit here, so you might be able to get a full picture here. Yep, there we go. So hands extending. Now as you walk forward, really extend the arms. Now if you come all the way forward, then do so, just as long as you're able to keep your spine extending. And you're going to go ahead and come back up to center. Now we're going to direct the opening to your right side, my left side. So I'll be a mirror image for you in this segment. Same principles, keeping the spine extending. You can reach the middle and index finger towards the big toe again, which helps to give you a little bit of an anchor. Now you don't want to crank on it or pull on it. You're just going to hold it gently and allow that to guide you forward deeper into the pose. So working with the breath, slowly coming a little bit deeper. Now you want the first contact at the thigh to be with your abdomen. You don't want to have a space here and come into this C shape with the spine. You want to keep the spine lengthened, allow the abdomen to contact the top of the thigh as you come forward. Nice deep inhalations and exhalations, and folding all the way forward if you can. And then release up, coming to the other side, again turning to now your left side, my right. You can grab the big toe with the middle and index finger if you can. Now, modification here would be to use a strap or a belt if you can't quite reach the toes. Nice deep breaths, keep the breath flowing, and that will help you move deeper into the pose. And then go ahead and release. We're going to go through that one more time each side. So the first time,